Luis from luisrevere.com, and this is my new video podcast of the series Spotlight, where I just talk about a movie or something related to movies. And this is my second part of what I'm talking about. This is the first video if you want to see it. And I'm basically just ranking all my favorite Marvel movies, not just the MCU movies, movies related to Marvel characters. And the first video I covered from 45 to 26, and now I'm gonna finish it 25 from 25 to 20 to number one. I think I said in the first video, and just like a brief intro, I want to just say that as a kid growing up, I used to read all these stories in the comic books, and it's just so great to see them on the big screen. So I want to get right into it. This is the second part of this series, so I'm going to start with number 25, which for me is Captain Marvel. Now, I don't remember having very big expectations of this film, but when I saw it, I think it was great. I enjoyed it. I liked the whole retro aspect of it. It was the timeline of the movie was in the 90s, so you get Blockbuster and all those good retro references in the film. And I think Brie Larson and Samuel L. Jackson worked very well together. The story was interesting. It had good plots and good things on it. I think they did a good job at building up that when she unleashes her full power, you waited long enough to see it, and when you see it, it's just great. She's really, it's a really good character. And I enjoyed the movie, and I think Brie Larson did a good job on the film. And so yeah, number 25, Captain Marvel. And then I go to 24. 24 for me was Black Panther. Uh, Black Panther. The one thing I can say was that I wish the Black Panther character could have been a little bit more heroic. But the story, the film, the setting, the whole Wakanda. And I have to say this: Michael B. Jordan, as the villain, really stole the show. I mean, he was so good in that role. I mean, he was so great portraying the hatred that he felt for the injustice that he received as a kid, because he's not really the villain. I mean, he just reacted wrongfully to something that was wrongfully done to him. So it was an interesting character, and I think he did it so well. I think he really just stole the movie for me. I mean, I just he did better than Black Panther himself. But it's a good movie. It's a great story. Um, and the movie was really, I mean, to be nominated for best film. I think it was the first Marvel movie to achieve that. I think so. But it was a good movie, great movie, and I did enjoy it. It's really a unique film within the Marvel universe. So that was number 24. Let's go to number 23. For me, 23, Spider Man Homecoming. Um, I'm a big Spider Man fan. I love the character. I love almost everything they do about him. But Homecoming to me was disappointing in a few things, even though I, ha- I ranked it 23 because the disappointing things are not, they don't ruin the movie for me, but I was disappointed. First of all, I understand the whole Tony Stark mentoring Peter thing for the later Avenger movies. I get it. But I wanted a Spider Man alone film. That's why I prefer Far From Home. Um, but to reduce Peter to just wanting to be an Avenger, I think that was injustice to the character. But the film was good. I liked the Vulture. Tom Holland was a good Spider-Man. The whole back to high school thing, I got it also. But as a, I guess I wish we could see a more mature Spider-Man by now, since we've been seeing his films for quite a while. But I know that they keep starting the character again, so maybe he continues on this line on the MCU. We'll get to see better, more mature storylines out of high school. Uh, But Spider-Man: Homecoming was a great introduction or a great first film for Spider-Man in the MCU. The effects, the story was good in the sense of you see Spider-Man growing up in terms of reaching his own and his own voice by the end when he just decides to take on the Vulture by himself because nobody, even without the costume and all that. So it was a good introduction as a standalone film for Spider-Man. Um, all right, so number 22 is Thor Ragnarok. Now, many people love this film. I liked it. Um, I think the big change in the tone of the humorous Thor, it worked and it was good. But I think I liked the seriousness of the other films. But the action, Kate Blanchett as the villain, uh, it was an amazing film. Uh, so number 21, Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 uh, had a great story for me. I liked Tony conflicted with his own mortality sense because he thought he was dying and that's why he was out of control in ways. And we get to see Iron Man and War Machine fighting side by side. That was so great. That was so cool. And I like that Marvel in these films focuses on the story, not just of having Iron Man destroy the whole city. So the stories are good, and when you get to see the action and the effects, um, it makes it better for me. Of course, Robert Downey Jr. Is the main attraction. I mean, he definitely is Tony Stark. Uh, he continues to develop the character in this film. And so now we go for number 20. Number 20 is the movie that is not on the MCU, but is a Marvel character, and it's the Wolverine. I mean, that is the second film of Wolverine alone, not in the X Men. And the storyline in this one, I absolutely loved. I mean, the whole. I mean, we see Wolverine saving this Chinese man from the atomic bomb, I think, or the Hiroshima, and years later, that he's an old man and dying, and he wants to steal Wolverine's healing power because he saw it firsthand while they were in the hole. Um, and Wolverine is taken to Japan, where he has to fight these people who wants to kill the granddaughter of this man, while they're also trying to take his power away from him. It's a great story. It has great action in it. Hugh Jackman continued making the role his. Uh, I love it. I love that. I am a fan of those of that Wolverine film. I When I saw it, it was one of those where I had also no expectations of it, and I was surprised by it, and I gladly loved it. Uh, it's a good film. It's a good film. It has a good story. It has a good action. It has, I think it's unique in that sense. So at number 19, I'm going with the Incredible Hulk. Now this is the version with Edward Norton. He only did that one film, uh, but I think he was good at Hulk. I think he would have continued on if there were any creative differences. But Edward Norton is a specific kind of actor. I think. I don't think he's the one kind of actor who would do the same role for 10 films. Great actor. I love him. The film was good. I liked the showdown at the end between the two, Hulk and the other guy, a monster. I mean, the clash in the city, the story, of course, the performance of Norton as he tries to eliminate the Hulk from inside him. Um, I think it was a good film. It was. I don't know why they haven't made another Hulk movie. I mean, Hulk has been reduced to appearing in the Avengers and as a sidekick in Thor, I think. But he deserves another film on his own. He deserves it. Mark Ruffalo is a good Hulk, so you could do it now. Uh, all right, number 18, the first Thor. Um, uh, I am a fan of Thor, and I like his standalone movies. This was a nice introduction. I can't say it's the best one of the Thor films, but I like the story about taking this god and making him not mortal, but put him on an earth where he has no, he doesn't have his hammer, he doesn't have his servants, his title, and he's reduced to understanding what a leader should be. So that part of the story appealed to me. I think Natalie Portman and Chris Hemsworth were really good together, and the characters surrounding them, they were good, they were fun, and the action by the end is just great. Of course, Loki. I mean, Loki is my favorite villain from these films. He's just so I like him, and the actor plays him so well. I can't wait to see the series on Disney Plus. I got Disney Plus for these shows, and they are yet to premiere. So I have to say that I can't wait to see Loki's show. All right, number 17, Guardians of the Galaxy. This is the first one. And I have to say that I am very surprised from this film because I didn't expect to like it as much, but I loved it. I mean, the characters, the way they blend, they are very unique because they're not really heroes. I mean, they just blended together and decided to take care of the galaxies, and it was a fun film. I love the way they used music on it. It was, it really was a fun film. Number 16, the first Iron Man. I don't know if I'm ranking this one too low because this is the film that basically started it all. I understand that, um, and it was a great film. I mean, I remember seeing it for the first time, and I love the trailer where they played Iron Maiden's Iron Man. Uh, Great film. Obviously, Robert Downey Jr. again. I know he carried the whole MCU because he's a great actor and he took this character and made it so real. I mean, he really brought what we read on the page on the screen because he embodied Tony Stark in many ways. And it was a great film. Jeff Bridges is the villain. Gwyneth Paltrow is also on this series. And I don't know. I rank it low. I rank it 16 when maybe someone else would put it higher. I don't know why, but I just prefer the other films that I'm listing before. Even if there are some other choices like number 15. I think number 15 will be a weird choice for some, but it's The Punisher from 1989. Uh, it was I think it was more of a home video hit, not a real hit in the theaters, but I loved it. I mean, I feel like that's the best rendition of this character on film. Now he didn't wear the shirt with the skull, but he embodied the feeling of the Punisher. I mean, he was really the way Dolph approached the character. He was really down. He felt depressed, dark. He had no mercy in many ways. Um, and the story of him going against this Chinese who mafia who kidnapped um, mafia kids or something. If you haven't seen it, just give it a chance. It has a lot of action. Uh, is Louis Gossett Jr. plays his ex-partner looking for him. Um, it is a good film. I mean, I really liked it. It's to me, it's still one of the. For now, it's still the best Punisher. I don't know what awaits for the character in movies, but I liked it. I mean, I just bought it recently because I was. I mean, I wanted to see it again, and I got it, and I enjoyed it just the same. All right, number 14, the first Captain America. I have to say that Captain America films to me uh, are among the best of the standalone films. And the first movie was so. I mean, I was moved by Captain America. I mean, the whole when the film started, where he was weak, and the way he was going training for the army, or this desire to serve. I think it embodied the character. When we finally see him fighting the Red Skull, I just like the storyline of it and the feeling of it, and I think it's. I think when it comes to the introduction films like Iron Man, Thor, Spider Man, Captain America had the best one for me. I mean, he had the best introduction. The first his first film to me is the best of introducing the character. I think it's the and I didn't expect that really, even though I love the character in the comic books. I did not expect the film to be as good as it was for me. All right, so here we go. Number 13, Spider-Man: Far From Home. To me, that was a big improvement from Homecoming to Far From Home. Obviously, the Tony Stark aspect of it was there, even though what the character, uh, had died. If you've seen Endgame, um, but in this time, I think it was okay. I mean, I liked the story. Mysterio was a great choice for a villain because of what they could do with the character. I did not expect the way they used Mysterio, which was brilliant. I mean, I enjoyed it. Jay Gyllenhaal was great as the villain. Um, the whole high school trip to Paris was also great because it takes a little bit of change of scenery from New York, and and I can't wait to see the third one because they left it with a big hook. One last thing Mysterio did for the character Spider-Man. So I can't wait to see this next film and let's see where they take the Spider-Man character. So we're reaching the top 10. We're almost there. So number 12 for me it's Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Like I said, these films of Captain America, they're great. And from this point on, I mean, what Marvel did best was, even though it was a Captain America film, you get Black Widow, you get the Falcon is in this film, yeah. And this is a film where they discover that Bucky's alive. Yeah, Bucky is the Winter Soldier, and Captain America is fighting everyone just to save his friend, and that is a theme that is present for the next Captain America films. The action in this one is great. The story was great, and what can I say? Uh, it was a great film. All right, number 11. Now, this film got me from seeing Groot dancing to Mr. The son from Elo. I forgot the title, but Mr. Blue Sky. That moment, you get to see all the Guardians fighting, protecting Groot, and Groot is dancing around. It was just so fun. And this movie, I think, topped the first one in the story, but it just kept the same fun aspect of it. I just love these characters. I think they are so well together. Rocket, Groot, all the characters. I mean, they all have their unique features and they blend together well. And I like the storyline with Kurt Russell trying to get his son to uh, rule with him. I believe, and I think they created. It was a. I don't remember well the storyline in that sense, but it was great. I loved the film, and once again, I saw it on video because I didn't get to see these two films on the theater. So one of them, I regret that one. Uh, so number 12, number 10, X-Men 2, X-Men United. Now this, what can I say? At that time, when we saw Nightcrawler attacking the White House, and that was just the starting. Uh, it was such a big improvement from the first X-Men to this one. I gotta say, I mean, this movie, the story was great. The whole William Stryker wanted to eliminate the whole X-Men or the whole mutant kind. Wolverine, when the part when Wolverine screams, "If you want to shoot me." I mean, the movie has so many great moments. It's definitely one of the best Marvel movies um, that I've seen to this day. Uh, I mean, it's just so great. Um, it's action packed. It has a great story, um, and I think it's the best X Men film, in my opinion. For now, we have to wait and see what happens with the X Men. But for me, that's the best X Men film. For me, no doubt. Number 9, um, Spider Man. But this is the Sam Raimi film. You gotta understand, the Spider Man was a hard character to bring to life. I mean, cartoons, yeah, There are a lot of cartoons of Spider-Man, but live action, there was nothing. There was a big series in the 1970s, but I mean, uh, he didn't swing. Let's just say that. So when they announced finally they were doing Spider-Man, finally the technology allowed for this movie to be made, I was so excited. I was so happy. Um, and I gotta say, I mean, Sam Raimi did a great job in it because he was a fan of Spider-Man. I mean, I can't say he was 100% loyal to the comics because he took a story, the Gwen Stacy story, basically, by the end with the bridge, and he altered it. Obviously, he did not kill Mary Jane. But the whole Green Goblin and Spider-Man thing was great. It had a comic book feel to the movie. Tobey Maguire I think, he was a great Spider-Man. I love Kristen Dunst as Mary Jane, and James Franco was great as Harry. Um, so I mean, just to see Spider-Man on the big screen, it was so great. And the movie was a big success, and rightfully so. I mean, the movie was very good, and I don't know if it launched a new era of superhero movies, but it was big. It was a huge film when it was released, and to this day, it's a great Spider-Man film. All right, number eight, Thor: The Dark World. I absolutely love this one. I love the story. I love the whole drama of helping Jane and taking her to Asgard. The drama behind Loki and Thor working together. It was a great film. Like I said, I'm just a fan of the Thor movie, and to me, of this trilogy, this one's the best one for me. I always like to say that this is for my opinion. All right, so number seven, Logan. Now this one was great because it was an R-rated Wolverine movie. So I feel like we finally got to see the raw Wolverine that we read in the comics. Hugh Jackman, amazing in this film. As we see broken down Wolverine protecting his daughter. I mean, the movie had a great story, and like I said, it was the action was a little bit more raw. Uh, but I mean, it was just such a great story, and it was a great way to say goodbye to Hugh Jackman. Sadly, because I would love to see him back as Wolverine, especially now that Wolverine belongs to Marvel. But I think he has repeatedly said that he's not going to do it again. So, but hopefully he changes his mind, uh, or because it's hard to see someone else as Wolverine. But I hope that the next one they choose does it well. You know, it was hard seeing someone else's Joker, and Joaquin Phoenix did a great job in it. So I hope that repeats itself with this character. So we're in the top five. Okay, the number five is the first Avengers. Um, I think it was the first time something like this has been done. I mean, to see in a movie theater so many heroes together. Now, Marvel did a good job in the story because it didn't start like they were all happy friends working together. No, they developed the unity in the Avengers through that story. I mean, you knew they were going to get together, but they did it gradually. It was not like, boom, let's be friends. The whole Loki manipulation aspect of the story was great. I loved Tom Hiddleston's performance, like always. The action, and once they work together, I mean, you just get so excited. You know, that moment where they present each character when they're all lined up together. One of the best moments in movies. So you gotta give it for the Avengers. Number four, Captain America: Civil War. Um, so which team were you? I was Team Captain. I gotta say, even though Spider-Man was on Iron Man's side, I was on Team Captain America. Great movie. It was divisive for me because you don't like to see these characters fighting each other, but it was needed for the storyline, and it was a great storyline. And the movies had that dramatic effect. You know, seeing these heroes, neither of them wrong in ways because they both had their good points. But there were, I think, for Tony Stark, it was driven more by guilt than by reason. Um, so when you finally see the conflict in the airport, or yeah, the airport, what amazing! I mean, Ant-Man fighting Captain America, fighting Tony, it was really dramatic, and the story was good. It was sad how it ended because it ended uh, with friendships broken, but it was a great story and great film. Number three, Avengers: Age of Ultron. I saw this film recently because of all the Avengers films, it's the one that I've seen less, and I have to say, I mean, it was a great film. Um, the story was really great. The concept of this robot trying to eliminate because humans were bad. The action in it was good. The introductions to Black Witch and Quicksilver, I mean, they were good characters. Sadly, Quicksilver, well, not, I mean, was killed off in the movie, but he was good in it. And Vision, of course, Vision uh, was born in this film. Um, I gotta say, I mean, the story. I mean, I have to admire the way Marvel assembled these storylines. Um, and have them all connected. And the Avengers movies work so well. I mean, and it's hard when you have so many characters to do justice to each one of them. It's hard, and they do it. They achieve it, and they do it in their own way, which is great. So we are not going to. I'm going to talk about two and one together. I think by now you might know that I'm referring to Infinity War and Endgame as two and one. Uh, but they're really one film, so I'm going to talk about them both. Okay, so I read the book Infinity War, and I have to say that for the few occasions I liked the spin they did for the movie, the changes they made from the comic book to the movie. I have to say it worked better than the real comic. I mean, Thanos basically snapped for because he was in love with an alien, I think, in the comic book. So it was better that he did it to balance humanity. I think it worked better in the film. Um, so this is the film we've been waiting for since Iron Man because it was announced that this was going to happen. Infinity War was an amazing movie. One of my favorite moments ever is when Thor arrives to Wakanda. Uh, I have to. That's one of my favorite moments in movies, in the movies, and I have to say that the ending. By the time I didn't remember much of the story because I read it years ago. So when I saw the snap and I saw those heroes disappearing, and the way they did it with Spider-Man was so dramatic. I mean, I kind of left the theater like, wow, what the heck I just saw. And the worst part about it is you had to wait for a year for Endgame just to see how it would resolve. When Endgame arrived, it was an epic ending, and Marvel just did it. I mean, to finally hear Captain America say Avengers Assemble, and you see the long line of comic book heroes that you read. Me as a fan, I have to say I was so excited. I was like a little kid again, screaming at at the theater. And, it was such a great moment for me in movies. I have to say that when I saw all those heroes together fighting Thanos, which was brilliantly played by Josh Brolin, I have to say it's definitely my favorite Marvel movie just because it has so many great moments in it. It has drama with Black Widow and Hawkeye fighting for who would sacrifice for the Soul Stone. The I mean, and the actors they did this character so well. I mean, they became them the characters at least in my view, and they each bring something. None of them are fillers. They all bring something. I have a lot of characters in this film, and they all have a little. No matter how brief, they have something to offer to the story and the film. So there you go. That's my 25 for number one list of the Marvel movies ranked. I hope you enjoy them. Remember, if you disagree, then in a friendly way, put in the comments your favorites, which ones you would rank higher, which one you would rank lower, and let's just talk about movies. That's the point. So everyone, have a good day wherever the moment you're listening or seeing the video, and I hope you're doing well. And remember, if you want to subscribe or you want to visit my webpage for more content, www.luisreviewer.com. Bye.